your middleman CEO. Now, why do I call myself the middleman CEO? Because not long ago, 2020, I started my own middleman business. Now, I didn't know it was going to be a middleman business. I didn't even know what it was. I just knew that I used to be a mover. I used to have trucks. I used to have crew. I used to have equipment. I used to have back aches, muscle aches, fights with staff. I had all of that, the whole nine, the headaches that come with it. And I had all of that. I was making money, but it was a nightmare. And eventually in 2020, I said, yo, that's enough. I don't want to do this. And I stopped doing it. I sold the trucks. I got rid of everybody and everything. And all of a sudden, customers started reaching out to me. They continued to reach out to me through my website and my promotional items. And so I started getting all these calls and emails and texts. And I was like, in the beginning, I was like, hey, sorry, I no longer do moves. I appreciate it. And I even had customers that were like, hey, you moved us before, just wanted to reach out to you, needed to get moved again. And I was like, hey, sorry, just don't do it anymore, right? And I was like, wait a minute, but I do know someone, because the customer asked, they were like, well, do you know anybody? I guess they figured since we were so good at it, and don't get me wrong, we were good at moving. It was just the things around the business that just drove me nuts. And customers were like, hey, well, can you recommend anybody? And I was like, wait a minute. Yeah, I know a couple of people in the area that could probably help you. And so what did I do? I hit my boy Courtney up. Courtney owns a moving company here in Dallas, Home Court Movers. So if you need a mover, reach out. I hit Courtney up and I was like, hey, Courtney, I got a customer. I got their information. She just needs somebody to move. All you have to do is show up and do it. And he was like, what did you charge? I was like, the same thing I used to charge, like $350 and then like $150 an hour. And he was like, bet, send me the work. I sent it to him. And he texted me back. He was like, man, I made about, I think he told me about I don't know if it was somewhere between 6 and 8. I want to say about 660 or something like that off the job. And he was like, so what do I owe you? And I was like, what do you mean? And keep in mind at the time, I was just almost in semi-retirement trying to figure out what my next move was because I knew I didn't want to move furniture anymore. And Courtney was like, he was like, what do I owe you? And Courtney and I are still friends, good friends. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, you sent me the job. I made money. At least let me give you something back. I was like, okay, bet. And I was like, well, just buy my wife and I lunch. We'll just go to Applebee's or something like that. And he sent $50. And that's the first time I got paid doing that. And that, man, when that happened, because if you're entrepreneur minded like me, you always seeing opportunities. You feel like you you belong on Shark Tank because you always seeing these opportunities because that's the way your mind works. It's always trying to guide you to wealth, right? It's always trying to guide you to make more money. So sometimes you're like me, you have to turn it off and like, hey, I got to shut it down. I got to go to sleep. And so we went out, we had lunch or whatever that day. And that is the beginning. It ain't a sexy story. It ain't some mind-blowing story. That's literally how I got into having a middleman moving business. So I was like, all right, well, let me keep my moving business. We don't physically do any moves. And what I'll do is I'll just broker the moves. The information will come to me. I'll capture it. And then I'll send the information or dispatch it to other movers in the area. And then I found out really quickly, there's a lot of movers in the area, and there's a lot of movers who don't want to talk to customers, don't want to communicate with customers. They only want to do the work. And when I found that out, I was like, oh my gosh, I got a business model, right? And then I looked at Uber, and Uber was doing the same thing, right? Uber was going out. Uber, you guys know Uber, they already do what I'm teaching you to do. Uber was going out, finding someone who needed a ride, finding a driver, connecting them on the Uber platform, bam, 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 bring your car, pick me up here. And then every time that happened, Uber got paid in the gap. And so I was like, wait a minute, Uber already does this. Right? Because I was trying to figure out, is this viable? Could this really work? Okay, I made a few dollars. Can I make a living doing this? And then I realized Uber already does it. A company that's worth millions and millions of dollars, way more than I'm worth, right? I can't wait to get to the $1 million a year mark. I'm not there yet, but soon. The more industries I get into, the better. So my first year, jumped out, didn't know what I was doing. True story. You can see it on my Stripe. It's still recorded there. I made $77K in year one. Now, 77,000 might not wow you. It's not six figures. It definitely ain't going to make you a millionaire. But understand, I never left the house. I did all of this from home in my office. I never left the house. I could do anything I want all throughout the day because I always had my time. The only thing I needed to have with me to make this work was my phone, because I did everything on the phone. Right? Think about it, guys. Our phones use us all day long. Why not use your phone? Right? Your phone uses you to make money. Why not use your phone to make money? Right? And so, because you guys are so comfortable, just money going out of your pocket each month, right, into the phone bill company, AT&T, Verizon, all those companies. When are they going to pay you back? Why is money not flowing to you? So what I wanted to introduce you to is the idea of using your phone. Yes, that thing you're probably watching me on. You're going to use your phone to make money, and it's not a hard thing. And I'm going to teach you how to do it. Right? So 3 easy steps going to change your life. I guarantee it. It's the same thing that Uber does every time they make money. Uber's worth a lot of money. You know why? Because Uber finds drivers, connect them to riders, and get paid in the gap. They get gap paid, right? So every time a connection is made, Uber wins. Uber makes money. Now, here's the part I love the most. And I'll ask you, right? Does Uber own the car? No. Does Uber own the driver? No. By the way, if you have a question or comment, drop it now so I can get to it before this live ends. And we got some training tonight. If you cannot stay on long, go ahead, take this down. This is the free live Zoom training I'm going to be doing Thursday night. Click on it, 7 p.m. Texas time. Click on it, record this. That's going to be your Zoom link. And then you'll be live with me, and I'm going to bless your socks off, right? So 77K the first year using only my phone, working from home. To me, that was a win-win, right? Like I always say, if it's a win-win, you do it again. And I did it again. I came back the next year, and I came back the next year. And now this year I have a goal of $350,000. Next year, who knows what the goal is going to be, but we're moving into a different industry now, another one, an additional one. And we're expecting big things, right? So Uber worth millions and millions of dollars, billions of dollars, to be honest. And all they do is simply find a customer, right? Find a customer who needs a service, find a service provider, an ISP, provide the service, that's the driver, find a customer, that's the rider, and then Uber connects them in the gap as the middleman. So CMI, right? So Uber's the middleman, and they connect the customer to the independent service provider. In that case, Uber, in this case, the independent service provider is the person who's driving the car. So if you drive for Uber, right? Because I don't want you to think I'm making this up. You know that Uber as a brand is worth billions of dollars. It's a public traded company. It's got stocks and shares, but it's worth billions of dollars. And they've been around for about 10 years. So Uber's worth billions of dollars, been around about 10 years. And guess what they do? They have a very simple ABC business model. And as a matter of fact, it's not ABC, it's CMI. So all they do is connect a customer to a service provider, an independent service provider who does not directly work for Uber. They're independent service providers, right? And so all Uber does is bring them to the platform, introduce them to each other, and every time a ride is made and money is paid, Uber gets paid, right? So every time money is made, Uber gets paid. Does that make sense? So the same way that Uber operates is the same way I operate my moving service, right? So again, I have a moving company, because people get blown away when they say, what do you do? I say, I have a moving service. And they're like, man, I just moved. I could have used somebody. And I'm like, oh, wait. I don't do that. Like, we don't physically do the moves. And they're like, what do you do? We dispatch moves. I'm sorry, you what? Yeah, we just dispatch moves. We gather information dispatch the move. So if you go to my moving company, jumpinjackmovers.com, you're going to see that we dispatch moves. We don't actually do the moves, right? So, and if you're out there going, well, that doesn't make sense, you have to do the moves. Not necessarily. Uber dispatches drivers, right? They dispatch riders. They don't do any of the driving. They don't do any of the riding. They don't own the cars, right? Is that too hard for you? That there's a rider and a driver? I'll make it make sense to you. And I saw a couple questions. All right, so let's see. I'll make it easy for you, right? So I'll show you Uber's formula. And I'll show you that Uber's not the only one who does this. And these companies are worth billions with a B, Billy, not Milli Vanilli, Billy Vanilli, right? These companies are worth billions of dollars and they don't do any of the work. That's what I've been trying to tell y'all. That's what I've been trying to tell everybody. We got to stop thinking that we got to do all the work. We got to stop thinking that we got to bear the burden. No, read my shirt. Making money without doing any of the work. Any money without doing any. So Uber business model, watch this. I'm gonna prove it to you. And I want you to see it. So let me do it in a different color real quick. So we'll do Uber business model because you have got to see this. I can't let you go without showing you this. By the way, guys, if you like the pink hat, let me know. So, and I'll wear it more. I just like the color. And but let me know what you think about it. That's the Zoom link for the free training that's going on tonight, 7 p.m. CST. Be in there, and I'm going to teach you how to do this. All right. So let me show you Uber. Here's what Uber does. Uber finds a customer. Tell me if I'm right, because I know you guys drive for Uber, a lot of you. Uber finds a customer. In this case, it's a rider, right? And then Uber connects the rider to the ISP, the independent service provider. And in this case, the service provider is the driver of the vehicle. Now, you and I both agree that Uber does not own the driver, nor do they own the rider. Again, I'm blow your mind because we always thinking about if we got to make money, we're either going to trade some time for money, or if we got to make money, we're going to sell our Saturdays and sell our Sundays, and we miss the most important part of life, and that's experiences. Because we're always selling time for money. We're running out of time. We got no time for the kids, no time for the family. We can't be here. We got to miss that. Things we want to do, we cannot go and do. Hey, look, everybody, we're going to Miami this weekend. We're going to have a good time. I can't go because I got these bills. And so the only way I know how to make money is I got to sell my Saturday. So while y'all are at the beach in South Beach, I got to sell my Saturday and my Sunday. So I can't come. I got to make that money. So, and that's a cry for help because I've been there. Now, I'm not telling you a job is a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. A job is not a bad thing. It is a great thing. All I want to do is just remind you or introduce you to the idea that if your job is your only source of income, then that leaves you in a very vulnerable spot. You ever saw, and I've seen this, you ever saw like a baby bird or trying to think of something that, how about we'll just go with a baby bird, right? So a baby bird is born in the nest, nurtured in the nest, but every time the parents leave to go off and get food, the bird is left vulnerable, right? It's exposed, meaning that another bird or a snake or another animal, let me see, respond to this. I'm getting some questions too, guys. Drop the questions. And let me know so that I can answer your questions while we're on here. By the way, I've been getting questions through my email. If you want to email me, it's middleman CEO info, info@gmail.com. And I've been getting some questions. I got a question last night too, and I want to respond to that really quickly before I forget. And so a few questions also. So, and one was, can I do this overseas? And the answer is, because I think somebody hit me up. It said Wakanda, but they're probably in another country, I'm sure. And I would love to visit Wakanda, however. Okay. And I just want to say that, yes, you can do this in other countries. You have to go by the rules and the regulations to set up your business correctly, get the insurances you need, and you can dispatch. As long as there's a business there who needs customers, you can be in business, right? And for the person that hit me up the other night, and she was like last night, and she was like, and she was sweet. She was like, hey, I want to get in the masterclass. I'm ready to go, but I'm not on social media. Can I still promote my business without being on there? The unequivocal answer is yes. I'm rarely on social media. You can follow me, Middleman CEO, but I'm rarely on there, right? And the way you're going to promote your business is not so much going to be on social media. That does help. But there are other ways that I'm going to teach you to promote your business. At least 5 to 7 other ways that I'll teach you in the course, in the masterclass, where you'll learn how to promote your business without spending a lot of money, without having to talk to a lot of people, and pretty much without having to leave the house. So I teach you how to do that because whenever I first started, I didn't have a budget to go out and do mass advertising campaigns. I had to be creative. And so I share that with you. By the way, guys, if this is making sense, the only way I know is for you to hit thumbs up. If this is something you like hearing and it's making you feel good and it's a pleasure to your ears, a relief to your ears, or if you feel like, hey, I'm in a situation where I need to learn how to make money without having to go to work every day, then hit the thumbs up. That's the only way I know this is helping you. Right. So help me to know that I'm helping you. Is that fair? Right. And in exchange for that, I'll continue to show you how this works. So real quick, guys, we're going to go to Uber. So Uber does 3 things. Uber, number 1, they find a customer. If this is making sense and you guys know what I'm talking about, you understand it, smash the thumbs up. If you have a question or comment, drop it down. Uber finds a customer. And then the second thing that Uber does is Uber finds an ISP, right? Well, that's the third, they connect them. But the second thing Uber does is connect them, right? So Uber's the middleman, just put middle, right? And then the third thing they do is they use their platform to match them to a driver. So Uber finds a rider who needs a driver and a driver who needs a rider, connects the two right here. And at that intersection, they get paid. Make sense? So every time Uber matches, think about Tinder and those dating sites when you match. Every time Uber matches a driver and a rider, Uber gets paid, right? P-A-I-D-D-D. Every time Uber matches a rider to a driver, they get paid. Now, here's the beauty. Uber doesn't own the driver. They don't own the rider. They don't own the car. They don't own any of it. The only thing that they do is play matchmaker and connect the two and then get paid in the gap. So if you want to make money the same way Uber does, just follow the Uber system. They've already laid it out to you, right? Customer, middleman, service provider, right? So let's forget that this is Uber, all right? Because I want to show you, it's not just Uber who does this. We're going to leave this same business model up here. Same business model. We're going to leave the same business model up here. 77K for everybody who's jumping on late. That's what I made in my first year, 2020. And my goal for this year is 350,000. Imagine making that from home using only your phone. I'm just saying, this is too easy, right? And if you want to get into training tonight, 7 p.m. Texas time, and this is the Zoom information, you can screenshot and copy it, and I'll see you there. Or you could just write Zoom in the comments, and then I'll get you that information. If you have a question or comment, drop it now because I'm almost finished. All right, so forget that Uber does it, right? Forget it was Uber. All right, we're not going to touch the business plan. We're not going to touch this at all. This is a business model, right? This here is a business model, how the business is going to work. Uber says we're just going to find a customer who needs a rider, who needs a driver. We're going to match them, and every time they match, we're going to make money in the connection or in the gap, right? So I want to show you that it's not just Uber. You ready? I'm gonna blow your mind. How many ever, remember, I'm not gonna change this. I'm only gonna change the name of the companies. I'm gonna show you it's not just Uber. Multiple companies use the same model. Why aren't you doing it? Right? So forget Uber. You ever heard of a company called Airbnb? Oh, I woke y'all up that time, right? I want y'all to see this. Let me move the camera over a little bit because you don't need to see me. You need to see this board. You ever heard of a company? Copy that down, guys. That's going to be the Zoom information. And I'll also put it in the comments. Airbnb, same business model. What do? They find a customer who needs a place to stay, someone who's willing to provide their home as a place to stay. They connect them and they get paid again. Every time Uber matches a rider to a driver, Uber gets paid. Every time Airbnb matches a customer to someone who wants to rent out their home, they get paid. What am I telling you? Same business model. Guys, this is so easy. Nothing's changing. I'm telling you, they all do it and they get away with it, but you can do it too. You just trust me. Hello, we're back. I got another one. How many ever heard of Instacart? Instacart, same business model. I hadn't changed anything. Let's see if it works. Instacart finds a customer who needs their groceries delivered to them. And then they find someone who's willing to get the groceries and bring it there. They found a customer, they found a service provider, they got paid in the gap. Did I change anything? I changed nothing. And that company used that to make billions. Uber used this business model to make billions. Airbnb used the business model to make billions. Guys, what am I telling you? First of all, I'm telling you, you don't have to be a billionaire, right? If you make just 50, 60, 70, 100 extra $1,000 a year from your house, it'll change your life. And the way you go about doing it is you have to create a business and then connect the business. All you're doing is matchmaking. That's all you're doing. And so I'm going to come here and then I'm going to say, hey, forget Uber, forget Instacart, forget Tinder. That's a middleman company. You probably don't think of it, but it is. Forget Uber Eats, Waiter, Lyft, forget all those companies because they all do the same thing and they all get paid. I'm going to say, forget that name. And here's what I want you to put in there. Here's the business, the new business name. You. Whatever your business is named, whatever your business is going to be called, it's going to be you. My business, Jumpin' Jack Movers. All we do, I'll show you, nothing changes. All we do is we find a customer who needs to get moved. We find a service provider who already does moving. They have the truck, they have the skills, they have the people, they have the knowledge, they have the tools, the equipment, they have everything. I'm not going to do that because there's a customer, there's a business who already does it. All I'm going to do is get a customer for them, connect the two, and then get paid. So when I connect a customer here, I get paid here. For Jumpin' Jack Movers, because we're heading into the moving industry. This is my second industry, and then I'm headed into the website design. Keep in mind, I do no moving, I do no cleaning, and I have no idea how to design a website. But there are millions of people who do, and they need customers. So all I'm going to teach you how to do is to use your phone to get customers, get paid, and dispatch the work. It's that easy, right? 3 things I'm going to teach you how to do, and it's going to change your life. I'm going to teach you how to book a customer. Very easy. Then I'm going to teach you how to take a deposit. This is where you get paid. And then I'm going to teach you how to dispatch the work. When money gets made, you get paid. And I'm going to teach you how to book, how to take a deposit, and how to dispatch the work. right? I don't know which part is my favorite, getting paid or dispatching the work. I guess I like them both, because even though I love to get paid, I don't want to be stuck doing the work. So I dispatch the work out to other service providers, let them do the work. They already want to do it. Just feed them. Feed them. That's it. So when I book a customer, I get all the customer info, whether it's through text, email, phone call, does not matter. I have a script for all of it. We book the customer, get their info. I take a deposit. On average, our deposits are about $150 on average. Sometimes I've taken more than that. Sometimes we take less. I've had $500 deposits. Just depends on what I'm scheduling, right? So I get the info, I book the job, and then, okay, so I got the customer info, the customer's gone. Customers contact me, hey, Jumpin' Jack Movers, want to get a quote. And then we say, and whatever your company's called, it doesn't matter. You could be in the home cleaning service, you could be in the website design service. They could contact you to get graphic design. They could contact you to get their hair done. All you're doing is giving quotes. You don't do any of this. How do you think I'm able to be in multiple industries and I have no idea how to do those things? And I ain't never gonna do them, because all I'm doing is connecting. Uber doesn't need to know how to drive. They hire drivers. Uber doesn't need to know how to ride. They hire riders. Uber doesn't need a car. They'll use your car. So all I'm telling you is use the same mindset. I don't have to have a moving truck. They already have one. I don't have to have tools and crew. They already have that. All I'm going to do is capture the information, get money for myself, get paid, and then dispatch it to the ISP, and they're going to do the work. I'm going off to Chuck E. Cheese because I got 2 kids, young ones. So we're going to Chuck E. Cheese in the middle of the day when nobody's in there. Little snotty-nosed brats everywhere. But we're going off to Chuck E. Cheese, right? And I could be at Chuck E. Cheese and I look down, I got a quote request. I'll respond to it. Hey, we're this and this. What day would you like? Because I teach you how to respond, how to reply. And you use the same template every time. Hey, yeah, we're looking for Thursday, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure. Let me get your information. I'm going to invoice you a deposit. Once that's paid, we're going to go ahead and confirm this. Get your email confirmation. Don't worry about that. I teach you that too. Get that email confirmation so they can understand how this works and they could get their confirmation for the reservation. Yeah, and as soon as you do that, as soon as the invoice is paid, we're going to go ahead and set you up for schedule. Bam, invoice come through, and I might be running around with the kids at Chuck E. Cheese for an hour, and then that person might be at work. And then all of a sudden, bing, I get a ping on my phone. I look down, the invoice has been paid, right? And the confirmation receipt has already been sent. I don't have to do it. It's automatic. And then all of a sudden, I got paid. I made $150, not bad, for while I'm playing with my kids. Think about what your life would look like if you could do the things you want to do and get paid. Because right now, you can't do the things you want to do and get paid. You got to do one or the other. And you got to make a tough decision. And so, but imagine money goes into your account, you get paid. Hit thumbs up, guys, because I know this is blessing you. You're not going to find this on any other channels. But you dispatch it, you get paid, and then you turn around and then you have about 10, or I always recommend a minimum of 10 up to 25 service providers. And you're not going to need that many, I promise you, because whatever service you choose, whether you get into roofing, heating and air, I have a student who's in heating and air. You could get into home cleaning, pressure washing, painting. It does not matter. Whatever industry you get into, I promise you the companies are hungry for work. You know how I know? Because they're advertising. They're spending money to try to get leads. I'm going to teach you some lead hacks where you can beat them, get the customer for them, and then bring the customer to them. And then you get paid in the gap every time a customer connects. So every time you dispatch, you've already gotten paid. You're not going to dispatch any work until I get you paid. So imagine, I just want you to imagine this, and then I promise, like a Baptist church preacher, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to close. So I want you to see this, because I want this to be real to you. I don't want you to think I will fluff you or lie to you. I don't. Anybody who's on my pages, my Facebook, my Instagram, on here, they know me. They know I'm not going to lie to you. They know I mean what I say. Right? So my first year, $77K. Not bad. I had no idea what I was doing. This year, 350K. That's my goal. Now, I would love to make $1 million a year, and I could get on here and just fluff you and just lie to you, but that's not me. I'm not going to do that because that's not fair to you. I just want you to know that this is another way you can make money. This is all about teaching you how to make money just in case something happens with your job. And the chances that something is going to happen with your job are very likely. I just want you to understand that. I'd rather you not run into a surprise emergency. I'd rather you be surprised. I'd rather you be prepared as opposed to surprise, right? I want you to be prepared, not surprised. So anything could happen at your job. I just want you to know that. Anything could happen to you where you can't go to work and they're not going to pay you. And so at least you'll have a way to make money if you don't go to work or if you can't go to work. So I want to show you something real quick and then I'm out. So I'm going to teach you how to book, deposit, dispatch, but I want you to think about this. Whenever I started, I was at, on average, 100. I was a little less than that because I didn't know what I was doing. I was taking sometimes I was taking $50. I was taking $75. I was taking 100. I was just trying to figure it out if it would work. Now that I see Uber and all those companies do it, I don't have to figure it out or think about it no more. I know it works. They already do it. How many know it's easy to pass a test when somebody gives you the answer? Uber, Instacart, Lyft, all those companies, Airbnb, they've already taken the test. I'm just going to copy off them. Here's the answers. Customer, middleman, service provider, book, deposit, dispatch, buy, and paid. So I'm going to show you something. All right, so let's just say you're first starting out, because I try to teach everybody to try to take at least $100 to $150 deposit, right? So let's say you're starting out and you take a $150 deposit, whatever industry you're in. Now, if you're in computers and website design, you're going to be making a lot more than that. If you're in air conditioners and heating and roofing, it's going to be a lot more than that. But I don't want to throw big numbers at you because I want you to understand it doesn't take big numbers to be successful. Whichever industry you want to get into, that's up to you. You can do multiple. My advice is just don't do multiple day one. Learn one first and then come back 6 months later and then go into your other industry. So for you guys that are on here, by the way, smash thumbs up. And that shows me that this is helping you. That's the only way I know. Or you drop a question or comment. By the way, guys, if you're on late, I see some people jumping in. I have a free training tonight on Zoom, 7 p.m. Texas time. This is the ID and the passcode. Jump on it, or you could go into any of my videos. The first comment is going to be the invite and the Zoom link. If you want to get this, just write the word Zoom in the comments. Have a question or comment, drop it so I can answer it. So you're going to get $150. Let me see where we are on time, guys, because I got to get going. All right, so we're about to wrap then. So let's say I'll teach you to make $150, bam, per call. Let's say it's you're just starting out. You get $150 per call. You only do one call a day, just one. And let's say they don't even call you. Because there's other ways. They could text you to get a quote, call you to get a quote, or they can just email you, right? I'll teach you how to promote your business so they'll have that info. So let's say the customer's at work. They can't really call you. They just text you, right? Because most people don't want to talk now. A lot of bookings are done through text. So they just text you and say, hey, I'd like to get a quote for blah, 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 whatever industry you're in. Let's say you're in the home cleaning industry. That's the one you decide to go with. Remember, you don't pick the industry based on what you want to do work-wise. You're not going to do any of the work. Just pick the industry based on who you want to connect, because you're not going to be doing any cleaning. I'm going into the website industry next. I don't do websites, and I never will. I don't want to. I just want to connect people who do them and need them, and then I get paid, right? People do this. They do this all day long. They're always looking for somebody to help them. You're just going to become that help, the middleman, connect them, right? So let's say somebody texts you, asks for a quote. This is a real scenario. So you're doing whatever you do during the day. You're at work, your own break, whatever. You get a text message that says, hey, Johnny, Mary, I would like to get a quote real quick. And so the customer's going to text you and ask you for a quote for whatever service, right? So let's say you get a quote for cleaning. We'll just put clean, right? You're in the cleaning industry because you got to pick a business name and an industry. And I teach you all that, how to do it. And let's say your company's ABC Clean. No, I don't like that. Let's say your company's Magic Cleaners, right? So magic cleaners, you don't clean, you don't even own a mop. All you do is connect people. So your magic cleaners, you're going to give them a quote. Hey, blah, blah, blah. You know, here's what we do. Here's how much it is. Customer says, lock me in, right? And then you say, perfect. I'm going to invoice you or text you an invoice link. And as soon as you pay that, you're going to be booked. Customer says, perfect, send it. Customer pays you $150. That's in your account. Now you got $150 and you got customer information. Now all you're going to do is turn around and then you're going to dispatch that information to the ISP, independent service professional, and they're going to go out and do the work, right? And so if you're wondering how do they get paid? Well, after they finish the work, and that's all in the agreements that I send to you. So you're going to send the form that I give to you. You're going to send the form to the customer, and it's going to say blah, blah, blah. You pay the deposit, blah, blah, blah. Pay the balance at the end of the job. Bam. And the ISP already knows they get paid at the end of the job. That's not your money. Your money is in the deposit. You're out of there, right? You're on to the next job. So the ISP, the service professional, they're going to finish the work. Customer's going to pay them. They get paid. You've been paid. And as soon as they finish the work, they get paid. They go home. Job is done. They got paid. They're happy. They can't wait for you to send them more work. You got paid. You're happy. You're hanging out at Chuck E. Cheese with your kids, and you don't have to stop what you're doing and run off to work. You don't have to stress on Sunday nights because work is Monday. You don't have to celebrate Fridays because you feel like you're in prison and you're getting out for 2 days and you got to go back. All that's over with. All you have to do is learn how to use your phone to make money. If this makes sense to you, smash the thumbs up. If this is something you want to try and you're ready to change your life, if I could teach you how to make just an extra few $1,000s a month using your phone without leaving your house, would that work for you? Would that be okay? If the answer is yes, I'm going to drop a link in the first comment below. It's going to be in the masterclass tonight, live free training. I'm going to walk you through this, and I promise you it's going to bless you and change your life. All right. Hope you guys have a great day. I have got to get going, but I had a great time. I'll see you guys in the training. Peace.